Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody gonna come tonight. I can't tell. I don't know nothing. I'm just sitting in the chair and waiting. And you waiting, and we're all both waiting. Good grief, you a nut. You gone nutty butters, I think. You gone nutty butters. You supposed to get all that energy out while you was out playing today, and you didn't get it out. Whew! My goodness, you ready for show? Okay, get on your show pause. Get on show pause, show pause, show pause, show pause, show pause, show pause. Okay, show pause. Okay, show tell, show ears, show ears. Ready to go? Okay, you ready to go? Okay, all right, ready to go? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Welcome to episode of MUDDIN 43 of MUDDIN and BEAGS. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. Ready to do some mudding tonight. Okay, hope everybody's doing well tonight. And we is in the driver's chair and doing our thing. Whew, okay, alrighty. Let me see. Let me get my hat. I need my hat right now doing this kind of business. Let me get a little air going. Okay, get our act together. Okay, we're ready to go. Alrighty, and hope everybody's. What in the world? Somebody's running a damn drag racer outside. Good grief. That's crazy sound. Hey, damn. You act crazy as hell sometimes. I swear you do. Damn. Would you move out the way? I'm trying to do something. Clean up the mess you just made. I think you do that on purpose because it happens right regular. I have noticed. Sorry, folks. Somebody's being a terrorist today. But anyways, okay. We ain't got time for all that. Alrighty. Okay. So here, let me see here. Let me get my act together. Sorry, we were in the middle of doing something. Hello, Miss Virginia. Can y'all hear that? Somebody's drag racing outside. That's loud as hell. All right, you need here. Let me give you a biscuit so you'll get out my way and go play in the road or something. Go play in here. Go play in the road. It's time for business. Okay. Sorry, folks. Welcome, Floppy Chopper. How you doing? Okay, so we're going to start off today with a little something. Let me get my thing right for the something. There we go. Just a little something I wanted to share. Wait, what am I doing wrong? Before, move other media. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, remove. There, okay. Wow, that was weird. Okay, anyways, okay, so I got my act together here. Bear with me, folks. My second laptop here is being cranky, so I can't see you guys in the chat for the moment. So I'm doing a little work on a little something. And I was looking at this Nebraska state capitol, and I ran across just a weird anomaly, and I just wanted to share it with you just for giggles. So when you get into the previous Capitol buildings, it gets a little bit confusing. And they originally had their Capitol building in Omaha, and they had two of them. So they built two different structures. Let's see, in Omaha, two structures served the territory of Nebraska. The first was a two-story brick building donated by the Council Bluffs and Nebraska Ferry Company. This building, formerly located on 9th Street between Douglas and Farnham, served the territory legislature for the sessions of 1855 and 57. A second building constructed in 1857 and 58 on the site of the present-day Omaha Central High School served the remaining sessions of the territorial legislature and the first sessions of the state legislature beginning in 1867. Now, the first part of this anomaly is the Omaha location. And let me see. If you go to
they don't have pictures of the first two buildings in Omaha. But when you go to Omaha Central High School, um, on this site, supposedly there has been 4 buildings to date, and the first two being the territorial, what do they call it, territorial legislator, something like that, and the second two being Omaha Central High School. And what the anomaly that I found is, let me, this was supposedly started in, let's see, 1859. Okay, is when they built the first Omaha Central High School. Now, let me get rid of that screen share and add another screen share. Stop screen, I think. Okay. And screen share, and then add this bad boy. So, and let me get my doodadded right. Okay. All right. And so this is the first high school that they built on that location, Omaha Central High School. So obviously we have a Second Empire Mudflooder, just a beautiful building. Okay, it's even got a clock. You know, that'd be 4 clocks, one on each side, and you know that's a fake flag there. Um, so that's interesting. Okay, but then this is, I think I got a few more pictures of this building here. But then this is where the anomaly comes in. So then they decided to build another high school, and instead of tearing down the old high school and then building the new high school, they built the new high school around the old high school, and once it was completed, they tore down the old high school. So this is a picture of the two high schools, one within in the other. It's like the Russian dolls of mud flooders. So you got a mud flutter within a mud flutter, which I find just fascinating. So here they have removed it. I don't know what year this is. And here you can see it's gone now. So this is just really weird. This is a more modern picture of it. It's still there today. And it's still, a high school. So that's the first part of the anomaly. But that's not the end of the anomaly. No. So then going back, let's see, share screen. Okay. And then going back to the screen we were looking at originally, the second part of this anomaly is when they went to build the Nebraska state capitol in Lincoln, Nebraska. So they moved it from Omaha to Lincoln. And this right here is the first building they built. And then on the same spot, they built this building. Okay. And so, you got two old world structures here on the same spot. Now, I don't know if they demolished this building and then built this building, or if they built it around it or over it. And I'll tell you why. Because after they built the second building, they built the third building. And this is kind of a blueprint overlay thing, kind of, Dad. You got the first capitol, the second capitol, which looks like it was built around it, and then the third Capitol, which was built around it. And so this is, I believe, the second Capitol. And they built it in phases, but then they built around the at least around the second Capitol. They built the third Capitol around it and over it. I don't know if it's gonna, I probably have to get back to the beginning, but the third one was an Art Deco style, and this was in like 1932, so this is all before 1943, which is my cutoff date for Mudflooders. And these, I'm just showing you some of the interiors. It's very Art Deco. I'm interested. This is the building today, but this building was built around the second one, and I even believe it's possible they built it around the first one. There's an overhead shot, and I believe we go back to the beginning. Okay, so anyways, the point is, to that is that you have the first Capitol structure, the first legislative building that was built in Omaha, and then they built a second one, and they tore those down, and they built a high school, which then they built another high school around the first high school, then demolished the first high school on the same location, and then they had moved the legislature to Lincoln, and they built a Capitol. They built another Capitol around it, and built another Capitol around it. So it's like this Russian doll mudflooder thing they got going. And I just thought that was a really interesting anomaly. What does it mean? I don't know. I just thought I'd share that because it just struck me as something that was interesting. And another thing I wanted to share. Get my screensy sharesian, and my doodadded. Quit licking my leg, you weirdo. And so let me get rid of that. So this is a place at Portsmouth, Ohio, and there's a lady that bought this building, and it was built in the 1800s. I forget what year. And it was a hotel originally, and she's bought it. She's fixing it up, and she's got a channel. She's making videos on it, so you can go check out her video. Is named 1800s Abandoned Building Walkthrough the Day I Got the Key. And anyways, you can go check her out. I forget what her channel name is, but she shows a video where inside this building, in the basement on the left hand side, there's a cistern, but then there's also a big archway that looks like it goes out to the left. But more importantly, there is a large arch in the basement on the back of the building, and there is rumor that okay, here's the river, okay, and the ferries used to come up here, and the rumor is that the customers used to get off the ferry and used to walk through a tunnel that walked them straight up to the hotel. Now here's the hotel right here. Now another part of this story is that there is this tunnel is and hold on, I gotta bear with me, folks. I gotta get this thing to shut up here. There it goes. Finally got the laptop to agree with me. So there's this tunnel, they say, is 300 feet 350 feet long, 7 feet high, 4 feet wide, and it's a brick tunnel. And you can clearly see in the basement well, they haven't dug it out yet, but you can see the top of the arch of the, so it's clearly there. There is clearly an arch there. But what I find interesting is if you drop a, let me turn this a little bit. Okay, the story goes that the tunnel, which is back here in this area, goes from here to somewhere around here, and people would walk through the tunnel to get to the hotel. But what I find interesting is when you measure, let's see, let's put it right there. Okay, and then you measure here. So 350 feet. Let's just kind of find out where that is. Okay, there's 350 feet. You know, it's possible that it did go that far, but I just find that kind of interesting and weird. I don't know, but this is a neat little area. There's a lot of old world stuff down here to look at. This is more on the riverside, and I think this is really cool what they've done here with the murals. I'd like to kind of take some time and look at all these murals because they're very, very well done, very cool. They tell a lot of history. A lot, I think, could be learned from those murals. But there's what seems to be kind of two areas. Oh, I got stuck down in the thing. Kind of two areas in this little town. You got the area over here, and I think there's another downtowny area. Yeah, right over here. So there's kind of two. Well, drop down, you weirdo. There you go. So two kind of areas of downtown, or of old world buildings, to look at. So I kind of thought that was just kind of interesting. It's not a place I've looked at before, and so I'd like to look a little more here. So anyways, that being that, I just wanted to kind of share that with you real quick, and kind of give you a little something there to peek at if you get bored. So we're gonna continue on with our Pittsburgh hump cut. We are making progress. We are getting close to getting through it, but it's still going to be a little while. We're going to get all the way through it, so we don't miss any of it. Hey Sig, how you doing? Looks like you got a new icon. I think maybe. Am I crazy? Hello, Miss Kathy Broughton. How you doing? Okie dokie. So let me see. Let's get my doodad right, and we will get into our business. Okay. Oh, let's go ahead and get the pleasantries out of the way. And
You think you know me? You think you know my struggles, my pain, my journey? Let me tell you something. Don't judge me by what you see or hear. I didn't walk this path to impress anyone. People love to point fingers, to act like they know everything. They don't know my story. You don't know what I had to sacrifice. Because everything I've become was built from battles you never saw.
okie dokie. Got that out of the way. And zip it, Skippy. Ain't even got no time for it. And the squeal master is up to his old tricks, as y'all know. And let's see, we'll go ahead and get this right. Let me get that clicked. Okay, so 1913, and I'm going looking at the Pittsburgh Hump cut, and I got a view of 5th Avenue from Ross Street to 6th Avenue near Allegheny Courthouse and Jail, showing the new and old grades from the Hump removal project. The Hump cut took place in the downtown area known as Grants Hill. The project began with planning in 1909 and ended with the final cut in 1913. It changed the gradient of Grant Street, Diamond Street, and Oliver, 5th, 6th, Webster, and Wiley Avenues. Please see Frederick Law Olmsted, Pittsburgh Main Thoroughfares, and the Downtown District for more information. That's a book, and we'll look at that another time. So we'll get in here. I'll give you a gander peek at that. And so what you see here is the Allegheny Courthouse and Jail. Not real sure. I think this is the jail portion, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken. But this is showing the line of the old grade and the new grade, and this is just a reference. The lines are not the most accurate thing in the world, and on some of these pictures with these lines, you'll see what I'm saying, where you can see, the dirt doesn't go in a straight line. It goes, kind of up and down kind of thing. And so this is just a reference. It's not a fully accurate representation of what was done, but it gives you an idea to help. And supposedly that the architect says that he designed this building. You can see the difference in the especially right here, you can see the difference in the coloring of this stone compared to this stone, and that would be the difference between the smog from the steel mills of Pittsburgh hitting the stone, and then this is the freshly uncovered stone. And supposedly you can still see the difference today on that. And these buildings here, I believe, are now demolished, but the Allegheny Courthouse and Jail are still there today. So, who's so grumbly for? Well, if you hadn't gone out there and chased that pit bull off, you'd be more accurate to where you would be in your position of what you should be doing today. I'm just saying, should have left that pit bull alone. No eating pit bulls right before show. I'm telling you, this is 1913, a view of Grant Street from 5th Avenue to 6th, showing the new and old grades from the Hump removal project. So, go ahead and get that up for you. Let you get a gander of that. Let's see. Did they have a surplus of buttons back in the day? I don't know. I mean, people used a lot of buttons back in the day. Is that what you're asking? That's something that I'm a big fan of the show Oak Island, and the history of Oak Island, and they find a ton of buttons on Oak Island. Zip it. Yeah. On my nerves. And you can see that original line. So all this was under the dirt. Now, I cannot say if they may have dropped this building down. That's unknown. We might be able to figure that out with more research later. With the this dog's getting on my nerves. With the looking at different pictures, different angles, different time frames, because they took pictures in 1912 and 1913. So, You can see the differences in you just look up the the road name and compare it to other pictures taken on that same road, and a lot of times you can see what happened. So that's something that can be worked out later. So this is, we're just kind of finding these, and that I think there's more work to be done here in determining what can be known. It's a weird looking dude there. See, he's holding up a pole there with some measuring stick for the picture. That's what he's doing there. But yeah, they may have lowered this building. It's quite possible. But see, a lot of people, when you first look at this picture, will go, oh, look, they're saying the original surface, and look, this building must have been underground because, the original surface obviously was above it. But not necessarily, is what I'm saying. We need to look deeper. We can't go with, there's more to it. It's quite possible that later on I'll find a picture. And I that's one thing I plan to do, is do a comparison of the then and now, kind of not a then and now, but a early as opposed to later shots, to see the differences. So that's something that I'll be looking at. There's a lot of different angles you can take here, and look down different ends of the telescope. Oh, I forgot to read my doodad, sorry. 1913 viewed of construction along Diamond Street during the Hump removal project. Look from Grant Street to Ross Street, the Allegheny Courthouse and jails on the left, the Hump. Okay. All righty. Make sure we get that read. That's important to know where you are. The Allegheny Courthouse and jails right here on the left. And these are the jackhammers that were used with the steam-powered, the mobile steam power, and they were jackhammering. This is a great shot. You can see the bit and everything. That's how they were breaking the rock up in the ground. So that's pretty neat. Get a real good shot of that. Pipes coming out. Look at that stonework right there. So this is probably an areaway up on the sidewalk. Arched window. It's just amazing they did this with the phone poles in place. Oh yeah, to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Hope y'all had a good day with your families. And there's the steam shovel. That did all the big heavy lifting. Those look like facade pieces right there. And they did do some hanky-panky to this facade on this building. So that's something that we'll need to look at. Okay, we got Cherry Way, 1913, a view of construction along Cherry Way during the Hump removal project, looking from Oliver Way towards 5th Avenue. All right, let you get a look at that. And you got the concrete mold going in place for the sidewalk. New plumbing. A little cartouche there. Little Venetian shells. I can't really, hard to read that sign, but it is a building with the V as the U. And I've said before that I believe, what if that says Carnegie? I don't know. I really can't read it. Probably doesn't. I know Carnegie had a big part of this area, so I could say Carnegie. I don't know. So y'all had a good Mother's Day, huh? That's good. There's Fred. Fred being the horse that built America. Just look at the wonder in their faces. Foundation work, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Look at that shoring they got going there. Boss man. Arch windows. Alrighty. That open. And we got 1913, a view of construction along Diamond Street during Hump removal project. Looking from Grant Street to Ross Street, the Allegheny Courthouse and Jail is shown on left. Okay. And there's your Allegheny Courthouse and Jail. Looks like might be old plumbing there. Looks like they're digging a channel, or maybe they're digging those pipes out. Now, this is an important shot. This is where I was talking about how they did some hanky-panky on this bottom area of the Allegheny Courthouse. They made changes to this, and it's going to take some determination to figure out what changes they made. I know one thing they did. You see these nubs that are sticking out here? They took those off, and they replaced them with stone. And what's weird is, you see, here's the old stone, right? The official story is that the architect put the same stone at the bottom that he put at the up above the ground, below the ground as you put above the ground, because he knew they were going to uncover this area. But then when they uncovered the area, they took off the facade stone and they put on new facade stone. And still to this day, they say that it doesn't match. And one thing I know that they did, and it took me a hot minute to figure out, which might be what they're doing here, is they chiseled these nubs off. Because when I started looking, I was like, "Where's the nubs?" Because in newer pictures, there's no nubs. I'm like, "Where's the damn nubs?" Because I know they're there. They chiseled them off, and then they put on this new stone. It's very strange. Like, there, you clearly see there's stone here, but then they take the stone off and put new stone, and they chisel off the. It's very strange. I don't quite understand what the hell they're doing there. I'm missing a piece to the puzzle. I don't know what it is yet. A walkway up here, arc light. There's an areaway. You can see that stone right there. Well, we got a baby bull coming to the farm. It was just born. Got to find a name for it. And a girl, young camel. So we got a girlfriend for Joe the camel coming. So we have two camels. So Joe will be excited about that. He'll be so happy to have him a girlfriend. And let's see. And this is 1913, a view of construction along 6th Avenue during the Hump removal project. Looking from Ross Street to Wiley Avenue, numerous storefronts are visible, including New York Restaurant and Holland House. Let's get a look at that. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. There's that weird train track or trolley track. There's a great shot of the side view of it. It's a very strange trolley track. I does not know why they did them that way. Danger, keep moving. Diamond symbology. Ladies and gents. This would have been an interesting time to be around. Arc light. Can't even imagine. Diamond symbology. Those windows. More diamonds. I don't know what the diamonds represent, but they represent something because you see them a lot. A lot. Bum, 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 bum. License, not sure. Got some kegs up here. There's the old cobblestone road being tore up. Let's see if it's melted. Is that melted cobblestone road? No. No, ain't found no melted cobblestone road yet. Still looking. That's weird looking right there. That's creepy right there. That lady right there with that light, that's wild looking. I wish I could zoom in more, but it won't let me. Creepy. (1913) A view of construction during Hump removal project on Diamond Street, looking west from Scrip Alley. Yeah, Floppy, that it is fascinating to me that you have these just absolutely gorgeously constructed architectural beauties, and then they put the world's worst signage on them, and they'll literally cover up the architecture with the signage a lot of times, and it's got to be purposeful. And they've done studies that show that I don't know if you've seen these things where modern architecture, it does not stimulate your brain, and then when people look at old architecture, that your mind is stimulated because it's symmetrical and it has different parts and it has faces and it has all these different things, and they can literally watch on brain scans, watch your mind light up when you look at old architecture. But when you look at modern brutalist architecture, your mind is blank. And they've done studies on this. It's fascinating. It's really interesting to look at and watch people, look at stuff. And there's a lot going on we don't even understand. They have really screwed us over, I think. There's the steam machine there. Arc light. Spiral staircase. Etheric antennas. Arc light. I was watching this thing today. They were talking about pipe organs and how pipe organs have like 4,000 something pipes on them. I never knew that. And also talking about how that they work off bellows in the old world, and I knew that they had bellows, but I never really kind of put two and two together. But that's a an old world technology. 1913, a view of construction along Script Alley during the Hump removal project, looking 4th Avenue to Diamond Street. So you've got this organ, right? And you pump it up by stepping on these pad things, and you pump up the bellows, okay? And then you can play the organ, right? Well, that's free energy. So you've got this, it's a free, I think free energy, I think a lot of times, like we think, oh, the whole world had free energy, but I think it was, I don't think it was all etheric energy. I think they also had a lot of stuff like windmills and water mills, things that steam. I think they had, free energy devices that were not all etheric. It wasn't all coming out of the etheric energy. I think they were very clever, very more grounded to earth technology. Just interesting. This is an interesting shot. You could see these Mudflood windows here, and they've got these cast iron grates here, and you can see where when they dug it out, how they're just hanging in the air. And I think they may have built these. I don't know. Maybe they built these wells after. Hard to say. No, maybe those were there before. Maybe they just knocked down levels. Yeah, I think that's probably what they did. There was this brick probably went up to up here, and they knocked the brick down. I bet that's what they did. I just find it interesting that they're still there. You can see how they've scraped it out and how these windows were underground here. There's Fred back there in the back, always getting her done. Let's see. Do 1912, a view of Hump District on 5th Avenue from Grant Street to Cherry Way, showing the Frick Building, Carnegie Building. Oh, maybe that was the Carnegie Building. Okay. And Anchor Bank. During the 1800s, the Hump cut took place in the area of downtown known as Grant's Hill. I think I've already read that much. Okie dokie. And let's see. Okay. Alrighty. So this is the Frick Building here, and this is the Carnegie Building. Gotcha. And the Allegheny Courthouse would be to the left. And this whole area right here was underground. All this right here. Matter of fact, you can see the line of the road right here, of the old road. And you can see it goes up this way. And there's still a mark today on the corner of this building showing the height of that road originally. Pretty dang cool. You see they're covering this up because they're going to redo that. It's like 4 ones on the Roman numerals for the Mandela affected folks. Bum, bum, bum. Very cool. Very cool. A lot of detail up there. That's a neat one. I think. Oh, wrong button. Buttons aren't toys. This is 1913. A view along north side of Clay Alley, looking west towards Chatham Street, showing progress of hump cut removal project. Okay. Let's get a gander at that. Looks like they're going to lower this building. Anytime you see the blocking here, that's them getting ready to lower the building. And you see that blocking is holding up the steel I-beams. In this building, they've already stuccoed over the foundation. Some of them they lowered, some of them they stuccoed the foundations. 85% of these buildings they did demolish after the fact, after they got done. It blows my mind why they did that. See, there's the screw jacks. That's how they lowered the buildings. It reminds me of that character out of that movie. Oh man, what was that? About the Civil War, about the Black Regiment that went into Fort Sumter. Gosh, what was that? What was that? Starred Matthew Broderick. It was a good movie. Probably a bunch of bullshit, but anyways, cracked the pipe there. That's not good. Not sure what that contraption's supposed to be. Anytime you see this would be where they see this is a pointed wall where what they do is this looks like this when they put the mortar in. Okay, actually it looks more like, kind of this where it's puffed out, and then they take a pointer and they point that this is obviously old, and the pointing is kind of going bad, but it is going bad. It's not kind of going bad, but you can see the indentation there where it's been pushed in, so where they've scraped out the mortar. But what you're seeing here is that this wall was not going to be seen. So there was something in this space here that there was no reason to point the brick, because you weren't going to see it. It'd just be a waste of time. That's a weird way to brick right there. Look how they're on the side, and then they're, I don't know, that's weird. Zip it. She's getting on my freaking nerves, man. He's being very whiny today. He was supposed to go out before we did the show, and he runs out there, starts barking at a dog that was running across the yard. So I brought his ass back in, and now he's being hollery. 1913, view of progress during hump removal project. Zip it. On my nerves. View of the progress during hump removal project along the south side of Clay Alley, looking west from the terminus of grading. Okay, let's see. Let's get a look at that. To lit. That wording's always been weird to me. Bum, bum, bum. Arched windows. I guess they put their plants out on these little box areas, little flat areas there, little shelves. All right, sit down, hush. We'll take a break at break time. You had your way, you go play all the time.
Why ain't having it?
play at the right time, that's when you play. Let's see. That looks like almost like a drop-in where you got stairs going down, maybe. So weird. Weeping mortar. That's a good term for it. Weeping mortar. I've never heard that term. That would make sense. Yeah. Yep. Reminds me of the I don't know if y'all know, but there's a 13-foot high obelisk on the outskirts of the area of the Washington Monument. So it's a 13-foot model, a real scale model of the Washington Monument that is underground, and it's 13 feet tall, and then it's got a brick like a well built around it, and it's got that, what you're saying, weeping mortar. So it was never meant to be seen, or they didn't care if it was seen. And you can see it from the inside facing the obelisk. It's a very strange thing. They say it was there for construction, surveying and stuff, but I think there's more to that story. It's still there today. 1912, a view of Hump District on Tunnel Street from Webster Avenue to Pentland Street. All right, get you a look at that. Trombones move compressed air with moving water. Trombones. Did not know that. Where's the water? Do you insert the water? Like, do you add the water? Trombone. That's the long one. The one yeah. I think that's the long one. I thought all horns kind of collected spit from using them, and then they had to drain them out every now and then. Is that what you're talking about? Or I am not a horn person. I do not know. Although I love when they play the trumpet and they got that thing on them. Have y'all heard Flea's new record with the playing the trombone? I'm playing the trumpet. He's a classically trained trumpet player. I don't know if y'all knew that, but Flea's actually a badass trumpet player. He's really good. He's got a cool new record. Weird little hat there. You see the old street grade there. And keep in mind that this is going to be excavated later. They just excavated the center at first, and then came back and did up against the buildings later. So there's, unfortunately, they did not take pictures of that time frame in a lot of ways. So we don't have that evidence. And I had looked and looked and looked for more evidence on this, and it is like just not available. 1913, a view of Hump cut progress along the east side of 6th Avenue, looking south from Wiley Avenue. Let's get a look at that. Diana. Height. He worked on a building, and the weep was on the front and uniform. So I guess you could do, yeah. Well, yeah, you could do a yeah, if you cleaned it up, I guess you could make it an artistic expression. I would think. I mean, it would just be using the right tool. I could see that. There's a type of stonework where it's got the like half moon kind of mortar coming out of it, which is a popular style. That's probably kind of the same thing that you're talking about. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a brick mason. There's Trent Reznor's Cut Rate Pharmacy. Drugs. That's a weird sign. What does that got to do with drugs? I don't know. Mutual Union Beer. Some awnings. You need a biscuit. Cross of Lorraine. Dental. There's the weight system for the fire escape. Looks like it's seen better days. Aight. Well, let's see. 1913, a view of Fifth Avenue showing the original and modified incline grade after the Hump cut. Visible in the background are Frick Building, Carnegie Building, and Anchor Bank. Okay. And we saw this picture earlier while they were cutting it out. And there's a plaque right here. There's the plaque. This plaque is still there. And it shows the level of the street, and then it shows the angle that the street went down. That plaque is still there today. But all this was underground. This is the Frick Building here. Carnegie Building. And Frick and Carnegie were little butt buddies. They like to pat each other on the ass. A couple of the robber barons. Frick had a very large hand in the Johnstown flood, if you know your history, which was the largest American disaster before 9/11. There's flat earth asterisks in case you need that. Yep, that is a clever name for a biscuit. And there's the Kaufman Building, and this is the original Kaufman Building now. And there's the statue on top, and the Kaufman clock is right here. This is the original Kaufman clock. And both the building and the clock have been changed. And I don't know if they re-facaded the building or if they tore the building down and rebuilt it. I don't know. I have not determined that. I have been questioning that. I don't know. something to ponder. You'd think these records were clearly available. 1912 view of a Hump cut on Grant from Webster Avenue to 7th Avenue. They'll tell you stuff like, the building doesn't look the same today as it did back then. Yeah, okay, well, I can figure that out with my freaking eyes, but, did they tear the building down and rebuild it, or did they tear the whole facade off the building and redo the whole facade? I don't, I'd like to know that. I mean, there's a big difference there, and I don't know. Did I read that? I don't think I read the doodad. View of Hump cut on Grant Street from Webster Avenue to 7th Avenue. Maybe I did read it. I don't know. Anyways, and this is the Pittsburgh Railroad building, and the beehive canopy is right here, and that is still there today. Everything else in this picture is now demolished. It's gone. Gone. There's Pepe. How you doing, Pepe? ADD Pittsburgh Printing. Check out that little doodad. Little flat earth asterisks in case you need those. It's always going to be there somewhere. Diamond symbology. Those some big bricks they're putting down as the road. Arc lights. They don't look too happy to be getting a picture taken. Yeah, we know what you're doing. We know. You ain't fooling us. (1913) A busy view of 6th Avenue between Wiley Avenue and 5th Avenue in the Hump District after the cut. Several local businesses are visible during including Resner's Cut Rate Pharmacy and Mutual Union Beer, which we saw earlier. If you remember, you remember. It might have been Giuseppe. Might have been. There's Fred. There's Trent Reznor's place again. Got our drugs. Check that out. Glory. Yep. That was the name of the film. That was a good movie. That was a good movie. I like that. I doubt the accuracy of the movie now, but just because of what we know now. But I've seen that movie many times. Y'all probably a lot like I did. There was movies that you like, for some reason you had them on VHS, or you had copied them off TV or something, and you watched them over and over and over again on the VCR. That was just one of the ones I had. So I'd seen that movie many times. I remember I had Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I memorized that movie word for word, and every time I'd watch it, I'd do it word for word and drive people absolutely out of their minds. They'd be like, "Would you shut up?" And I'd nail every line. Just for fun. I don't know. Couldn't do it now, but I don't know. Maybe I could. Hadn't done it so long. Check that bad boy out. Docker airship up there. Very cool. And 1912 view of Hump District on 5th Avenue from Ross Street. And you got the Allegheny Courthouse on the left here, and the Frick Building and the Carnegie Building on the left. And they're there, but the I don't know about the buildings here, but these buildings right here on the right-hand side of the screen, these buildings are now gone. I don't know about this big one back here. Not sure about that one, but these little ones are definitely gone. Those little kegs. I wonder if they're kegs of dynamite because they were blowing stuff up. I wonder how many people got killed doing this. There's the jackhammer. Look at that arch right there. I don't know where that's going to. See, this is when they're uncovering. If you got the stones supposedly that matched the ones above, but then they redid them. So that's really weird. Very, very weird. That's some other crusting there. Old wallpaper. The facades fell off these. Look at that foundation there. That's that being an areaway. Check that out right there. Anytime I see these, I think they're additional. These stairs that came from the outside that went in, I don't think that's original. I think that's redone. I think that is to get around the fact that the stairs were not, that normally you would have come in down here. Originally you would have come in down here somehow, and then you got to understand this is an area where you're looking at. You're not looking at the front of the building here. This, you see the sidewalk right over top of it. So this comes out 4 to 6 feet past the front of the building. So you're not looking at this is not what you're looking at here. This is an areaway in front of the building. But I think these stairs, when you see them like this, that they open to the outside, or you open a door and you go straight up the stairs, I think these are something we added to accommodate the fact that you wanted the store on the bottom level, and then you wanted to be able to circumvent the store to go up to the top. I think originally, I don't think the stairs opened on the street. I think that you went inside and then went upstairs. I think they redid these. That's just my thinking. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm trying right now to get access to a train station built in 1899 that they're getting ready to tear down. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to work some magic, but I don't know. I see it's got something on underneath it, but I don't know what. It ain't on the plans, so I will look. What in the world? 1912 view of Hump District. Did that come on? Wait a minute. Let me try that again. No one didn't come up. 1912 view of Hump District on Webster Avenue from Chatham Street to Tunnel Street. Let's try that again. It's not coming up. You know how this thing does. All right. Okay. I'll tell you what. Let's take a break and give it a second to breathe, and maybe it'll decide to work with us. So let's take a break. Go get you a snack, a little something, a little nip, and we will be back shortly.
Game thin. I tucked the blade in a kiss on the skin. You said sorry before you did it. Me, I blame the dark when it's mine. You say name it plain, don't dress that line. Me, I call it love when I need that fix. You say no, that's habit in a velvet trick. Love like a habit, not holy, not clean. Come back, I bruise what I mean. Love like a habit, same cut, same seam. Don't move, what I need. No romance in the room, just repeat. Love like a habit, not holy, not clean. Come back, I bruise what I need. Love like a habit, same cut, same seam. Don't move, I bruise what I need. I know the trick, I know the tune. What I need. no sweet mouth. Let it pale by itself. You go quiet, I go quiet. That's the only truth left. Under your table light, stay low, stay bright. We call it love when it's out of sight. Under your table light, hold tight, don't bite. Secrecy tastes sweet and it don't feel right. So close. Wait. Ordinary room, but it feel like a test. Kettle talk, 2 cups, try calm the chest. Coat on the floor like a guard for the door. You laugh in your sleeve, I'm a child in the war. Yeah, don't look. There's a third in the hallway, not a man, not a face. Jealousy in the paint, city in the base. Hand on the knob like it own what we got. You say we're safe, I say safe is a plot. Too late. Under your table light, stay low, stay bright. We call it love when it's out of sight. Under your table light, hold tight, don't bite. Secrecy tastes sweet, then it don't feel right. So close.
Okie dokie, who's back? Alrighty, let me get back in here. And my doodad, doodadded. Let's see if we can get this going right here. Bada swing, bada. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Yeah, okay, it's gonna work now. Let's read this again. 1912 view of Hump District on Webster Avenue on Chatham Street to Tunnel Street. All right, and you get a gander at that. Get your bearings. And they're going to lower this building. You see the I-beams and the blocking here. There's Fred down there, down in the mud, getting his hoofs dirty. Yeah, I don't think I want to ride that contraption up and down a building. They're going to lower this building here too. Anytime you see that, they're going to lower the building. Dangerous, keep back, caution. Might drop a building on your head. Wholesale groceries. Look at that bracing they got on that building. Look at those stairs, those temporary stairs they got going up there. Jeez. Hello, Jason Marshall. How you doing? What's going on? What's up? Y'all remember that? What's up? Everybody calls it, what's up? What's up? What's up? Remember that? I thought it was funny. I don't know what they got hidden under this. Hey, Beagle. Did you have fun on your patrol?
Did you catch any pit bulls? How about any rabbits? Catch any rabbits? Oh, I love catching rabbits.
I was riding around the farm the other day, and one of the farm cats was sitting on the side of the road, damn near ate the damn head off a squirrel. I'm like, damn, that's savage. Golly, those farm cats they are just savages. Absolute savages. Oh my goodness. 1912 view of Hump District excavation on 5th Avenue from Wiley Avenue to Ross Street. That's what they're doing. That's their job, is to eat stuff. We saw a damn big ass copperhead this week sitting in the damn road. Hate them damn things. All right. And get on in and get in there. Look at Furious Fred here. Good grief. He's hauling ass. Plumber and gas fitter. Shoe Shine Parlor. Looks like they've knocked the windows out of this building already. Steam shovel going. Always people standing around. He got a fire hydrant up his ass. Poor fella. Man. Whatever floats your boat there. Whatever floats your boat. I ain't gonna join you in that operation, but it is what it is. And this is 1912 view at Hump District excavation of 5th Avenue at Grant Street. All right. And bada bing, bada boom. Let you get a gander at that. So you like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Kathy? That was a good movie. I should have made a part 2 to that. That would have been cool. Sounds like they might be making a part 2 to Goonies. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. They always screw things up in part 2s a lot of times. Most of the time. I don't know. I don't know if they can do it or not. Some things just, it's like, I remember when they were, the writer of Forrest Gump was going to write Forrest Gump 2, or he was in the middle of writing Forrest Gump 2 and decided it was a bad idea. Like, yeah, it's a bad idea. Some things just need to be what they are. Leave it be. Painless dentist. I see, that is just horseshit. How can you possibly advertise that? That is false advertising if I ever heard it. Because I'm sorry. Even today, there ain't no such thing as painless dentistry. I don't even know what they got going on here, but there's a lot of something going on here. A lot of something. There's a lot going on right there. That's the Allegheny Courthouse. I'd say this is the Frick building. Yeah. Yep, definitely the Frick building. So this is an areaway here. Very interesting. All these Freds lying around. Going on to the next page. Hoorah. And Open Sesame. 1912, a view of Hump District excavation on 5th Avenue from Ross Street to 6th Avenue. Let's get a gander at that. Fred over on the left. He looks like a lot like our horse on the farm, and his name's Leroy. He's akin to a Clydesdale. He's really big. He purdy. He my buddy. He was an Amish workhorse. So he's not real big on, he's not, he doesn't really like to be messed with because I guess they, kind of whipped him, being the Amish. But he's warmed up a lot to me just because I try to be real kind to him and everything. But you can tell he's had a hard life. But I mean, he was a workhorse. And you know how the Amish do. They work them. Ow. This is the contraption they lift up those old pipes with. The old pipes right there. Bar. Arc light. Electric antennas on the tops. There's the Allegheny jail right there. Okie dokie. Moving on up. Well, we're getting the final pieces on the roof structure for the apartment in the sky this week, and then they're going to start on putting the roof on, which is going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how they actually do that. This is 1912 view of Hump District on Grant Street, 7th Avenue, looking south. And then in another week, I believe, the guy's coming to start building the floor and the walls and the windows, and do the outside metal, because it's going to be out. It's going to be out. The exterior is going to be metal. So that'll be an interesting process to watch. It's going to be pretty cool. I think we're up to 2 decks on it now. Well, technically 3. One on probably 3. I guess 3. Now I'm thinking about the stair deck, because that'll be a deck too, because it's extending out. Anyways, it's going to be interesting. I'll take more pictures of it as it goes. But it's high. It's up there. It is getting big, and I'm trying to gather parts up. Went to Agri Supply this week to try to find some parts I need. I'm going to redo the vegetable garden, the whole exterior of it. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but the plastic, we've been waiting for the plastic to, the plastic's really expensive, so you don't want to replace it until you need to replace it. So the plastic has failed this year, finally. And so we're going to rip the plastic off, and I'm going to redo everything, the whole exterior, because the exterior was built by somebody else. And they did it in a hurry, and they didn't do a very good job of it. It doesn't look very good. And so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. And so I've got an idea what I'm gonna do. I hope it works out. It's just a little bit complicated. a lot of messing. I'm gonna do it in four stages. Their trunking tower, arc light, ether finial. So we'll see how that goes. But it should look pretty cool. There's a little flat earth asterisk in case you need that. This is some crazy stuff here. Little Mudflood window down there, a little trap door to go in down into the basement there. You know, where's the door? That's not a door. What is that? And they say it's a telephone company. I tell you what, I've seen some of the interiors of these telephone companies, and they're very strange. I've got some interesting pictures to show you when I finally get to my Raleigh videos. I've got interior shots of the telephone company. Very strange places. Almost like they're secretive. I don't know. Very strange facilities. These phone companies. A lot going on in there. 1912 view of the Hump District on Webster Avenue from Chatham Street to 6th Avenue. Let you get a look at that. Bum, bum, bum. Ooh, I like that little cart. That's a cool little cart. I got me a gorilla cart, a gigantic gorilla cart that I can hook up in the back of my Kubota and run it around. The only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't do a lot of weight, which I found out the hard way putting concrete on it. I found out its limits about 300 pounds of concrete. That's about as much as you want to put on there, and you don't want to go fast. Anything more, and well, the tires give out. So I found that out hard way. Luckily, only one tire gave out. That wrought iron. Wrought iron's something that needs to be looked at deeper. There's a coin with a Q. Coin. Arc light. Okie dokie. Do. 1912 view of Hump District on Strawberry Way from Grant Street to Pentland. Let's get a look at that. All right. Some wrought iron work here. Got a man contemplating his life decisions. There's a guy there, and it's pretty wild looking. There's that old glass, that oily look. Oh, I like how they did those arches. That's pretty cool. That's I don't know if I've ever seen that. Look, I got a big arch over that. That's pretty neat. I spent some time making that building. Got my Hump cut map framed up yesterday. Turned out pretty good. I went to the thrift store the other day and got me a frame, $8. It was a little expensive for, I think, a thrift store frame, but it had a real nice. It was like a somebody's like photographic print in it that was like signed and all this shit, and I just ripped it out. It was a cool picture of a mountain, but you know, I didn't want that, but it was pretty good size for it. I think it turned out pretty good. I need to find a piece of cardboard though, because I need to put more backing in it. But other than that, it framed it pretty good. And I did it myself. It ain't perfect. I don't care if it's perfect, but I just want it protected. Look at those torus fields. But I'm glad to get that up. I can look over to the right here and look at it on my wall. Looks nice. But I have an original, real blueprint of this operation hanging on my wall. If you haven't seen that before, pretty cool. And open up. What are you up to, Siggy? 1912, a view of Hump District on 5th Avenue, south shoulder of Smithfield Street, looking east. Let's look at that. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I tried to get some the other day. I tried to get AgriSupply. I tried to get some clamps for chain link fencing, and you know they don't sell chain link fencing at AgriSupply. Nothing for it, which I thought was weird. I thought for sure they'd have that, and so finally I gave up, and I went to go check out, and the boss was with me. And he's like, and I had this weird confounded look on my face. He goes, what's wrong? I said, I can't find the parts I'm looking for. He said, what are you looking for? I'm like, I'm looking for chain link fence parts. He goes, oh, we'll just go down to my buddy. He knows a guy that owns a chain link fence business, Kaufman's, the big store. So this is the original Kaufman's exterior. So this is an important shot for those of you that know what the Kaufman's looks like today. Looks very different than this. Now, did they destroy the did they demolish the building and then rebuild the building, or did they take off the facade and redo the facade? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I just don't know. But you can see if you go and look at Kaufman's today in Pittsburgh, it does not look like this at all. It's not even remotely close. It's very different, but it's still cool. Nonetheless, it's still got a cool look to it. So, you know, it's an anomaly building as far as I'm concerned. I got questions. Some of this stuff doesn't add up properly. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 a lot of times. 1912, a view of Hump District on 5th Avenue, Ross Street to Grant Street. And the buildings on the right-hand side here are demolished. Don't know about these, and this is the Allegheny Courthouse and the Frick Building and the Carnegie Building on the left. And right here was where they were taking out the facade stone and replacing it earlier that we were talking about. And these are those little nubs here. And the darkness of the stone is the steel mill soot. You know, this was a horrible place to live at that time. The Pittsburgh was absolutely disgusting place to live during the steel mill days. It was just horrible. They say day was night and night was day. And what they meant by that was that the smog was so bad during the day you couldn't see the sun, and at night the smoldering slag, I guess, from the steel mills was so hot and bright that the brightness would reflect off of the smog and would keep it light at night. I mean, that's bad. They said that they had to do laundry on certain days because if they didn't, the laundry would get dirty. They had to do it on the days they weren't running the steel mills or something. Just a horrible place to live at that time. It's beautiful today. I've been there. It's beautiful. I liked it. I thought it was a really cool place. It was one of the more interesting places I've been, I'd say. I've been a lot of places. 1912 view of Hump District on Webster Avenue from Grant Street to Tunnel Street. And we got Fred down here, all lined up, ready to go. Ready to do a little mudding. Look at that mattress. There's a famous seafood restaurant down here at the coast called the Sanitary. I always thought that was a weird name for a fish restaurant. Arclight. That's a hell of a machine. Suits and overcoats made to order. Buttercrust bread. Bread for breakfast, bread for dinner, bread for supper. That's interesting. Dinner. See, I've never in my life called lunch dinner. And I remember one time there was this guy I was going to do some work for, and he's like, I'm like, what time you want to start? He goes, about dinner time. I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm thinking, 6-ish. He shows up at 12. You ready to go? I thought you were going to come at dinner. It is dinner. What are you talking about? And he was an older fellow, and I guess he called lunch dinner. And I'm like, I ain't never in my life heard no dinner called lunch called no dinner. I don't know. And then you look up the definition. I actually did this. Looked up the word dinner, and the definition isn't the midday meal. It's the evening meal. So I'm like, what the hell am I missing? Had me questioning if I was crazy. Well, I found out I wasn't crazy. Some of that old timer mess, I guess. I don't know. Your grandmother called lunch supper. See, I've never called lunch supper, but I've always called your nighttime meal supper or dinner. Supper or dinner. Never lunch. It's either lunch or noon or I don't know. course, I never called a car trunk a boot. Why they call it a boot, I don't know. I remember the old timers calling a trunk a boot when I was little, but I mean, what the hell's a boot got to do with a trunk? I don't know. I ain't never figured that one out either. Look at these other fennials up here. You say boot, I think of a shoe. I don't know. That's just me, I guess. I don't know. I guess, the younger generation will probably say things like that about us. 1912, view of Hump District of Pentland Street from Dante Alley to 7th Avenue. All right. Let's get a good look at that. Got some kitties over here playing. Got a handlebar mustache for Ian Carroll. Arc light. This is the Penn Station here with the beehive canopy here. That's still there today. There's the steam machine, that thing, mobile steam. Mudflood winders down there. Concrete molds for the sidewalks, so putting them in here. That's what I've always thought. Dinner and supper are the same thing. That's what I've always thought. You can say either one of those, dinner and supper, and I think you're talking about the evening meal, no matter what time you eat it. Okay. But lunch has always been lunch. I can't imagine another name for lunch. And of course, brunch would be between noon and the evening meal, like a midway between would be a brunch. But that's not what we're talking about here, I don't think. Flat Earth asterisk right there. This building's gone today. So are the ones here on the right, and the ones on the left are gone. Well, everything's gone in this picture except the one in the back here, the Penn Station. That's still there. All the rest of them have been demolished. Just so you know, in case you care, in case you're wondering, they demolished 85% of these buildings. In case you're unaware and uninformed, now you know. Now you know. There's Diamond's Melody. Bop-a-dee-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bop. Well, two of the damn zip lines broke this week. I swear I'm about over the damn zip lines. No, not the zip lines. Excuse me. It's not the zip lines that break. It's the damn returns on the zip lines. They've got this stupid mechanism that runs on fishing line, basically. I don't know if it's actual fishing line. Sure as hell looks like fishing line. And what happens is when it snaps back too fast, it coils itself, and then when it goes back, it pops the line, and it does it over and over again. It's a pain in the ass to fix, and I cannot get the boss to buy the remote control ones because he wants to be able to go running on the damn. He wants to ride the damn thing anytime he wants to without having to put the batteries in or take them out and charge. I don't know. There is not an option. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's not my problem, but there's just. My boss has this idea that the world's a perpetual motion machine. You just got to figure out how to make it that way, and it's not true. But he hadn't figured that out yet. 1912, a view of the Hump District on Webster Avenue, 6th Avenue from Chatham Street. And so, anyways, yeah. Bum bum. Look at that. Mozzie my. Yep, brunch. I ain't never been a big brunch fan. I don't see really what's the point. Now, I am a big fan of every now and then having breakfast for dinner. Now, that's off the chain. Or at least, well, I used to be bigger into it. Now that I don't eat pork anymore, I guess it's not as much fun. But that was cool. Of course, you got the midnight snack. Of course, they used to eat differently back in the day. They used to sleep differently too. They had 2 sleeps. You'd have the first sleep, and then they would get up and they would eat and hang out for a couple hours, and then they get back to sleep. Have the second sleep. So that's something a lot of people don't realize. Arc light. I imagine that's where the term the midnight snack came from. Whereas we think we just get up in the middle of the night and ready to refrigerator. Of course, I don't ever do that, but I don't. I've never done that. I don't know. Just not my thing. But wow, get all that going on. There's those weird pipes. Got new plumbing here. Boy, that's sketchy. Let's just walk up these to get to where we're going. Some weird stuff going on in this building. Very strange. Dog tooth, and look at that Etherphenio up there. See that right there? When you see that stucco on the sides there, that means they've covered over the facade. After they've dug it out, they would sometimes they'd cover over, instead of dropping the building down, they would cover over the facade, over the foundation, and use it as the building. Very strange looking. You have to wonder if they came back later and added stone to this. But then again, 85% of these buildings were demolished anyway, so I don't know. It's a very strange operation, I got to say. I sure wish I could find more information on this operation, but to date I have not found a whole lot. I have found a little, but not enough, not much. 1912, Grant Street at 5th Avenue to Oliver Avenue during hump removal. Hump removal? What's a hump cut? There you go. There you go, Floppy Chopper. I hear you. I'm right there with you, buddy. I eat whenever I'm hungry, and it like could be. Sometimes I get home from work and I'm starving. I'm hungry, and other times I ain't hungry till 2 in the morning. Oh no, I just don't. I eat when I'm hungry. I don't. And sometimes I'm hungry for a sandwich and I'm good to go, and we can call it quits. Or other times it's like full on breaking out the wok, and I'm up there Chinese, sushi. Bringing in the new road stones right there, I believe. There's Fred. Cartouche. Yeah, like there's one of those stupid signs. Like, that is so ugly. I tell you what, it's getting annoying to eat these days with the how bad our food system is. It's like it's getting harder and harder to find stuff that's not pure poison. I don't eat out anymore. I just can't even. Every time I like fast food, there ain't no fucking way I'm eating fast food. They're just not happening. I just can't eat that shit. I don't trust none of it. It just I can't even. And I don't know, man. It's just getting bad out there for food. Like, what do you eat that's not some sort of just absolute poison? I don't know. It is getting very, very bad out there. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, it shouldn't be that way. 1912, a view of the Hump District on Wiley Avenue to 6th Avenue. Man, look at all that dirt. Fred's down here. This was interesting. I've seen this one before. Interesting lines on that horse. I don't know what that's about. Kind of interesting. And fast food, that's another thing, is it's become outrageously expensive. After Finney there, I can't believe how expensive fast food is. It's absolutely mind-boggling. You can, like, I don't even think they have like where they had the dollar menus and the $2 menus and all that, before. I don't even think they have any of that anymore. I don't know, but fast food has become absolutely stupid. I don't know how they're going to survive like that. I mean, how do you? That's been their claim to fame, is that what they can, feed you for a lot cheaper than you can make it. I mean, even the poor folks, I think, are starting to give up on that. I tell you what, y'all, I don't know. Hold on a second. I don't know if y'all are experiencing this in your lives, in your area, in the people around you, but I am noticing around me a dramatic, like, people are going through some shit right now. And I don't mean like normal stuff. I mean like people are really getting their ass handed to them by the universe. It's getting kind of scary out there. It's like the universe is ramping up its wake your dumb ass up rhetoric. Like, it's like, okay, time to get up, time to get up, time to get up, wake your ass up, and it's beating the shit out of people. I mean, a good majority of the people around me, I'm watching them go through some crazy shit, and it's like it's just one thing after another, and it's not like it's. I'm not saying that they're out there looking for trouble, but it's like, it's just the problems are just, I mean, we're talking just rough stuff, and I just wonder if you guys are experiencing the same thing around you, that the people, the sheep around you are starting to experience some real problems like when you were awakened, like how you were awakened, and the stuff that happened to you. I know I had stuff happen to me when I was being awoken and awakened, and it I and I know that these people are experiencing that now, but it's like accelerated. It's like serious, like it's getting real out there. And like I can't think there's the only people I'm thinking like around me that I don't know that they're going through something. I think they're going through stuff. It's like it's everybody. And I mean, man, it's concerning. Like, we know we're in an accelerated time where the awakening is quickening, but man, it's like the universe has gone into high gear. In my 18 years of being awake, I've never seen it come on this fast. I've seen people go through stuff here and there, but like just last week, I saw one guy go through a week that would have just like made a person give up. They didn't give up, but like it was one knock after a knock. It was one big knock after another big knock after another big knock after. It's like, let's see, it was one, two, three, four big knocks in 1 week, back to back to back to back. And I'm like, damn, that's hard. Like, can you imagine having 4 major life knocks in 1 week? Before you even caught your breath, you were getting knocked again. I don't know. No, the people, the no, the people in your circle will never admit you were right. That's not gonna happen ever. You're gonna hear more like, yeah, they knew all along, but you're never gonna hear them say you're right. Matter of fact, it's not that they don't want to say it. It's they never listen to you to begin with. So it's like you did tell them, but they weren't listening. So they don't know that you told them. So it's not like they're going to be like, well, no, you didn't tell me that. They don't know you told them that because they weren't listening. They were in the room with you when you were flapping your gums, but they didn't hear you. And that's just the way it is. And I'm sure that before I was awake, that people were doing that to me, and I didn't catch it. I think that's just the way it works. I think we're stupid before we wake. I don't know. It's just, man, I tell you what, we're times is getting weird. But it's weird though, because I'm just kind of sitting here, it's all good. Like, I'm not bothered by any of it. It doesn't even. I had a great week. I just, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like this, like when you're after you're awake, it's like you see things differently. Like issues come along, and you just kind of go about it a different way, and you realize, it's a lesson to be learned, and yet you have to work through it. And it's not the end of the world or anything. I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah, I can't. D-word. I can't do anything McDonald's. I can't even. I don't know if there's any fast food I'd eat right now. I don't know. I can't say any fast food. I just can't do it. Anyways, okay. So I don't know. I was kind of sharing that for some reason. We get back in the humpy cut. Let's see here. 1912 view Hump District construction on Grant Street from 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue. Let's look at that. Got our steam shovel here. That gear. That's a heck of a machine. That's a pretty horse. Bless you, Beagle. Good grief. That was a hell of a sneeze there, boy. What you sneezing for? What you sneezing for? There's the portable steam. Trunk tower. Another thing is this DoorDash where people order it and they order fast food to their house, like and the amount of money they pay for being that lazy is just incredible to me. I think I stopped eating fast food when started watching some documentaries on the fillers and in the meat and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna not be eating that anymore. That just doesn't you knew it wasn't that good of stuff anyways, and then like to find out like actually why it's not that good, it really but see, it didn't used to be that way. I remember when McDonald's was good. It was real food. I remember that. All of it was real at one point, but it's not real anymore. 1912 view of Hump District construction on 5th Avenue from Grant Street to Cherry Way. See this guy a lot. So this is I believe, yeah, this is the Frick building. So all this right here was underground. Everything you're looking at here, you can see the old top of the road here. Hotel Henry over here. Rarely disappointed by your own cooking. I'm actually a pretty good cook. Just because I've cooked. Let's say okay. When I was in high school, I worked at a seafood restaurant. When I started there when I was 14, and started washing dishes and quickly moved up the line to. Well, I went from washing dishes and to prep work, which the prep work was like making hush puppies and coleslaw and cocktail sauce, which I still to this day cannot stand the smell of cocktail sauce. Anytime I smell it, my stomach just turns, because I'd make it in this huge like barrel thing, like I don't know how big, but not maybe bigger than 5 gallon, maybe a 10-gallon bucket of cocktail sauce. I'd have to make that. I'd make the tartar sauce, and I would prep. I would wrap baked potatoes. It was just prep work. So I went from washing dishes to prep work. I can't even remember all that I did, but it was that kind of thing. And then I moved from there to making hush puppies and potatoes. That was my whole job. Every minute and a half, I would drop 85 hush puppies, and I'd pop, 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 pop. And My right arm still to this day is stronger than my left because of that rotation of pop, 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 pop. But and I dropped 85 hush puppies. Well, 85 rotations was 2 hush puppies, so 85 times 2. And then you could not make hush puppies fast enough. They ate those damn hush puppies so fast, and the waitresses would sit there and holler at you, "Where's my hush puppies? Where's my hush puppies? I need hush puppies. Give me the hush puppies." And you're cooking them as fast as you freaking can. I mean, you can't. And the fire's only so big. You only drop so many hush puppies. You frying hush puppies, and as soon as you put them out, they're gone, because those waitresses come in there like freaking hawks, and they grab the hush puppies. They're gone. And then the other part of the job was putting potatoes in the oven, take the potatoes out of the oven. And first time I went to take potatoes out of the oven, I was sitting there trying to take them out with a damn hot pad, like one of them hot pad gloves, you know. And the captain, his name Captain Stanley, and he said, "What are you doing there?" I'm like, "I'm getting potatoes out." He goes, "Do it with your hands." I'm like, "I am doing my hands." He goes, "Take off that damn glove." I'm like, "Well, I'll burn my hand." This 1913 Hump cut progress view of Dante Avenue at 6th Avenue looking to Tunnel Street. And I said, "No, do it with your hands." And I'm like, "Well, I'll burn myself." He goes, "You'll build up a tolerance." And he was right. And so I would grab me. At first, when I first started doing it, it's like, ow, ow, ow. I grabbed them potatoes, ow, ow, ow. We grab them out of a 350-degree oven. It's hot. Damn things are on fire. But I got to eventually, it didn't even bother me. And you just grab them. And so I made a whole oven of potatoes. And as soon as I got those done, I'd pop more in. And we had them lined up at the door. And then I moved from there to line cook. And I would cook everything on the line. And we would just, depending on who needed what or what needed to be done, I'd cook everything, all the fried foods, all the broiled foods, all the crab legs, did all that shit. And then so we cooked, and so I did that. And then when I got 16, and I got a car, I realized that car cost money, and I wasn't making a whole lot of money there. And so I found me another job at a hotel, and I started working that job. And I was working both jobs for a while, but then I realized I was making more at the hotel than I was at the fish house. And so I quit fish house and seafood restaurant. And so at the hotel, I did room service, and I made tips. I made hourly tips. And then it was a really nice hotel, but it was really fucking slow. It was just business people, and there just wasn't a whole lot going on. From time to time, there'd be events, because we were across the street from the fairgrounds, and when there was an event at the fairgrounds, we'd be busy with interesting stuff, sometimes I remember the Grateful Dead coming through playing, and the wrestlers would come through, and just things like that. And but anyways, in the downtime, there was a chef there, and in the downtime, I got to where the chef would teach me things, because they had an actual chef working there, and she was a real bitch, but she taught me how to cook in our spare time, because she was bored as shit too. She was a real ornery bitch. I think she just really hated herself, but she taught me how to cook. And I learned to cook everything from beef Wellington to, prime rib to chicken cordon bleu to just all kinds of dishes. And it got to where I'd sit there and watch her do it, and then she'd teach me a little something here, a little something there, and then it got to be like an order would come in for room service, and she'd sit there and watch me cook the order, and then I would take it up for room service, and it was just how we passed the time. So I worked there, and then that's when sometime during that is when I went to Myrtle Beach for spring break, and then I was dancing with 3 girls at the Magic Attic, and had one on the left, one on the right, and one in the front, one in the back, one on the right, and my knee, we were going so hard, my knee went 90 degrees the wrong way, and I blew my knee out, and tore my knee up, and I had to get it scoped out. And when I came back from I was off that week, and for spring break, and when I came back to work, after the weekend, after the week and the weekend and the Monday, and I came into Monday, I was on crutches, and they fired me. And where am I getting fired? How am I going to get fired? I ain't even been to work. You know, I'm like, I've been on vacation. How am I going to get fired? And I guess for what they tell me is that somebody called out sick the previous Saturday while I was on vacation, and they tried to call me while I was on vacation, and I didn't come in, and so it pissed off the manager, which I never worked on the weekends. I only worked during the week. Or no, I only worked at nights. That's what it was. I never worked during the day. So there was like, I never worked during the day, and I never worked on the day during the weekend. And then this lady manager that worked on the weekends was mad because when she called me, I didn't come in. And so they fired me. I'm like, and I was kind of like, fuck it. Because my knee was tore up. I couldn't work. And so I didn't work for 6 months. And because I was on crutches. So it didn't matter anyways. I was going to have to quit anyways. I didn't, you know, I knew I was toast, but I didn't want to give up. You know how men are stupid. And so I didn't work for 6 months. And then finally, I needed to get back to work. And so I just picked a job. I just went down to Shoney's. It was a Shoney's near where I lived. I went to Shoney's and asked for a job, and they gave me a job, and they said, you know, do you have any cooking experience? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, you can work on the line. And anyways, 1913, I viewed Anton Alley from Grant Street to Webster, showing hump cut progress. And so I worked I was a line cook at Shoney's for, I don't know, 6 months, and I cooked everything in the place, like the whole everything, whatever Shoney's sells, I cooked it all. And I was so good at it that they would give me extra hours working at other Shoney's, and so I would like go to different Shoney's depending on where they needed to cook that day. So I started, you know, making extra money, you know, just picking up extra shifts because I was pretty damn good at it, because I was above average, you know, coming in, you know, just from my experience at the hotel. And then my buddy got a job at Huncor's warehouse because they were building it, and they made good money there, you know, good money for those days. And so I went and got a job there and went to Shoney's and quit, and that's when I started working at home quarters. And so anyways, I think that's all that's all the kitchen experience I have. But yeah, that's where I learned to cook at. Of course, I learned to cook around the house. You know, people used to cook too, so you know, I learned things around the house too. Because you used to have to cook things. I mean, I remember when you had to cook on the stove because there was no microwave. Like, you had to use that son of a bitch. That's the way it was. Of course, now I don't use microwave. I don't use microwave at all. So that's another thing I don't do. Another thing I suggest y'all don't do either. Y'all do what you want. I'm just telling you what I do. That's what I do now. I just tell you how I do it, and you can do whatever you want to. I don't try to push my views or ways on anybody. You know, you do it however you want to do it. I just tell you how I do it, and you can do it however you want to do it, and you have to deal. You have to deal with the consequences of how you do it. just like I have to deal with the consequences of how I do it, you know, and that's just the way it is. So, you know, do what you want. I just try to give people, you know, I try to explain to people like what I do, you know. You know, I filter all my water. Well, first I'm on well water, but then I also filter my water, but I also put crystals and copper and run it through that. So I do a little extra there. I can do better than that, but that's what I'm doing. You know, I've done that for a while. At 1913 view from corner of Cherry Way and Oliver Avenue, looking towards Fifth Avenue during the Hump Cut project. The building on the left is the Carnegie Building, which houses the Southside Trust Company. Across the street from the Carnegie Building is the Kaufman Brothers Department Store. All right. Let's get a gander at that. So the Kaufman's is here. This is the Carnegie Building, and the Frick Building's over here. So, oh wow, Floppy, you had a shellfish allergy. Wow. Working in a seafood restaurant. Wow. That's crazy. God, I can't imagine that. Oh God, I used to hate having to prep the fish because you'd have to I don't remember what we had to do. Like there was like some process between you having to take it. I'm trying to remember, like it would come in like frozen or something like that, and then you have to move it to from the freezer to the cooler. And it was in these big tubs. They were heavy and they stunk like fish. God, I hated it. That was a hard job. That was a job I don't ever suggest anybody get into, working in a seafood restaurant. And your clothes would literally stand up. They were so bad. Oh my God, that just absolutely destroyed your clothes. It was a horrible place. And oh my gosh, getting rid of the grease at the end of the night. Oh God, that was a horrible job. And the smells, like the smells were just overpowering. It's one thing you don't smell it in the restaurant. You don't smell in the restaurant. You smell it's cooked food. It's small portions. But when you've got a tub, a 10-gallon tub you're standing over a 10-gallon tub of cocktail sauce, it turns your stomach. It is so powerful. Freaking, oh God, I can't stand it. And just a twing little, just a tiny little smell of cocktail sauce sets me off. I couldn't eat. I used to have to make the coleslaw, and I couldn't eat coleslaw for a good 20 years after that. I couldn't stand the smell of it. I can eat it now. I have no problem with it now, but there was a long time I couldn't eat coleslaw. It's just too much. I can still pound out a daggone hush puppy though. Me and hush puppies is best friends. But the thing I ate the most on that damn line, and I'll never forget, I used to eat fried scallops like they were going out of style. And the captain came by one day. He goes, "John, you can have anything on this line that you want to eat. Have as much as you want, but stop eating the fucking scallops. You're going to eat me out of scallop and honey." Because I was eating them scallops, and they're like the most expensive thing on the menu. I was tearing them scallops up, son. Golly, 1930. Because every time I'd walk past the line, I'd grab a scallop. Every day. There was not one time I went past that line and didn't get me a damn scallop. I still love scallops to this day. 1913, view of 6th Avenue at Cherry Way, looking to Grant Street, showing Hump Cut progress, looking toward Eaton Company, Undertakers, and Toothless Cafe. But anyways, that place is still there today. It's called Captain Stanley's Seafood. They've moved. It's not the same location it was when I was. Now it's a Chinese restaurant. What the place we used to work, but it's still going strong. They still have a line out the door. It's straight up, artery clogging, Southern style seafood. Family owned, real deal, good stuff. So anyways, if you're ever in Raleigh, North Carolina, you're looking for good seafood, check out Captain Stanley Seafood. I'll give it the big seal of approval. And try the scallops. Oh, and they do this little dish that's literally pure sin, and it's these little baby shrimp, little tiny little itty bitty shrimp. It's a cup, like a bowl about this big, full of shrimp, and then they literally pour hot butter over it, so it's shrimp and butter, and it is so freaking sinful. You'll literally have to become Catholic and go to confession after eating this bowl. It's so good. It is so bad, so naughty, and so sinful, but it's so good. I totally recommend it. I don't know if they still sell that. It's probably they probably had to take it off the menu because it was a heart stopper. And then on Sundays they would do. They had this old black man that worked there. I can't remember his name, but he was one of the head cooks, and he would on Sunday he would cook something new every Sunday, like a whole spread of like soul food. Oh man. So Sunday was like, it was on like Donkey Kong on Sunday. I mean, he'd spread it out. Soul food spread out. Oh man. Man, that was good. That was good times. You wonder around my big boy. Good grief. That cartouche unscrubbed. Look at that right there. This is the mortuary here. This little building here with this little arch here is the mortuary. Got a ladder link for Douglas. Wow, that's an extension ladder. I don't know if I've ever seen one of them. That's kind of neat. Shark bites. No. No. I'm not a fan of shark bites. I mean, I have had situations where shark bites saved my ass, but it was a temporary saving of the ass. I had to fix it later properly, but I definitely would not recommend shark bites for everyday use. Some people, they go in there and pop shark bites on everything. I don't like them. They're too prone to fail. They're very expensive too. I would just rather plummet. But sometimes it's like if you've got a leaking pipe and you need to shut that sucker off and you ain't got nothing else but a shark bite cap, pop that thing on there. We'll go back and fix it. Temporary use, fine. But I mean temporary, like long enough for you to go to the store and get it back. Because, I mean, that thing's going to fail, I think. That's my personal opinion. US 6th Avenue, Grant Street, looking towards Webster Avenue, showing hump cut progress in McGuy building. Okay. I definitely wouldn't use a shark bite in an enclosed wall that you couldn't see. I definitely would never do that. Whew. Baby shark, do, baby shark. No, nobody No, you didn't see nobody plumb no entire bathroom with no shark bites. That's crazy talk. No, sir. I don't know if I read this one or not. Did I read this one? 1913 view of 6th Avenue, Grant Street, looking toward Webster Avenue, showing hump cut progress on. Yeah, I did. Okay. Got me off on them sharky bites. Why in the world? They have a purpose, I guess. Just got to know when to use them, when not to use them. Arc light. There's Fred hanging out, waiting on some dirt. He gonna roll up on out of here. Look at this trolley contraption. We see you there, buddy. That's gotta be Boss Man. It's like they're lowering this building. Foundation work. Sanitarians. All right. (1913) a view of Strawberry Way at Garland Avenue Alley, looking towards 6th Avenue, showing street conditions during hump cut progress. The first English evangelical Lutheran church walls appear on right, and the Chamberlain Company Sanitarians building appears at the end of the street. So it's like that. Okay. No, no, I don't think I'll use those shortcuts on water heaters. Is that what you talking about? I had to use several months back. I had to use a damn shark bite on a damn water heater because I had to put it in temporarily, but I knew I had to take it back out like in a couple days in order to do some more work and then put it back. So it was like a pain in the ass. So I did a shark bite knowing I was going to replace it. And damn if that thing didn't freaking leak in the meantime. I'm like, you sorry ass piece of. I can't stand shark bites. I just don't think. I don't know. That's weird looking. These are not AI. These are glass plate negatives. These are the real deal. The real deal. 1913, 2nd Avenue hump cut improvements at Ross Street, looking to Tri-Way and the PC and Street L Railroad Company overpass. The David Bovard and John L. Safang Manufacturing Company buildings appear on the right. Where are these? Man, where do people get these weird names from? This is an interesting place. This is above the hump cut area. This is one of those outskirt areas where it wasn't on the map. Okay, so this is right outside north of the map of the hump cut, and I believe a lot of this is gone. I believe this is still there, and they've built a stone wall on the side of here. I believe all this is gone. There's Fred hanging out there. But this is something that should be looked at a little deeper because there's definitely some, they've made some changes here. It took me a hot minute to figure out where this was, but I finally figured it out. But because it looks very different today than then. I think there's even a road, or like a raised road here or something. Um, I think that's what it is. They built a bridge or something, like a viaduct kind of thing here. Um, so that's definitely different. So there's that. Yes. That's something I've never learned to do is the copper and the solder and all that. That's not something I mess with. I don't do PEX. I do PVC and CPVC. I'll do like the cast iron, or the galvanized pipes. I can do those. I just don't. I don't do any of the rest of it. I don't mess with copper, or I don't know. It's just never. It's not something I've never needed to know, or not in what I've done. And if it's not something I don't need to know, then I don't need to mess with it. You put a tub under your hot water heater, yeah. No, I just don't. I just don't. Did you? You're saying you put shark bites on your? I bet you put one of those shark bite cutoffs on there. Is what you did. I don't like any of them. They're fine if you get them on there right, and they will last. The problem is, like, if they get knocked or anything, and they get askew or anything, or pulled or anything, they don't. That's when they start. That's when problems start. Or like expansion and contraction with the heat and the cold. It becomes a problem. So we don't want to do that. And this week's background is suggested by GT 1982 Mustang. So I hadn't seen him here tonight, but he suggested I take a look at this one, this building. So if I got to look at it, y'all got to look at it. What do you think of that? Yeah, that little O-ring. I mean, it's a neat idea to be able to go from any kind of pipe to another kind of pipe, but I think it's just a temporary thing. I would never use it permanently. And learning the PVC pipe is easy. So if you, that's really simple to learn. It's hard to say what you're doing, how to tell you what to do. Don't think about sharks all night. I have had shark one time, and it was in Los Angeles, California. And it was made by a friend's friend when we went to LA for a conference, and we had it was a really interesting dinner. We had it at one of his friends from here had moved to LA, and he was worked as a banker, and it was my boss's friend, and we went for the big Infocom, which is the big audio video conference and convention, and this is in the 90s sometime, and anyways, his friend lived there, and he had an apartment, a warehouse apartment, which was really cool. It was like this big studio apartment, which was really cool because it was huge, and he had this must have been 20, 25, 30 foot long wall that was 6 feet high of CDs. He had a CD store in his apartment. Like, he had everything. And I'll never forget, I blew that guy's mind. It was just luck of the draw, but I blew the guy's mind because my boss was like, yeah, John knows a lot about music. And the guy got cocky and he was like, oh yeah. And he threw a question at me thinking he was gonna like totally destroy me. And I nailed it. And it just absolutely blew his mind. He goes, what is the name of the song, the name of the band, and the name of the song and the band that played it, and what record is it on of the song that it has the best feedback solo at all these CDs? And I go, huh. Oh, Smashing Pumpkins Drown on the single soundtrack. His mouth goes, he said, how do you know that? I didn't tell him my favorite band at the time was the Smashing Pumpkins. Oh, I don't know. I just know. That guy turned beet red. He couldn't believe it. Thank God he didn't ask a second question, because there's no way I would have been able to answer that question. Anyways, so then he had a second, he had purchased a second house that he had his, he was fixing up for him later, but he had his dad living in there. His dad was getting old, and he needed a place to stay, and it was that way there was somebody staying in the house too, and it was up in the Hollywood Hills. I wish I could figure out where, because I'd love to see this house again. And the story goes is that it was owned by Charlie Chaplin. Now, I have not confirmed this to be true or not, but it was a very interesting experience, and the possibility of this story being true is very high. The story goes that Charlie built this house up at the Hollywood Hills because he wanted a home away from Hollywood where it was very private. Back then, there was not very many people living up in this area. And so he built this house. It was very exclusive, very, very private. And it was a ranch style home built on the top of one of these, California mountains, hills. And, you drove up this winding road to get there. And like, you couldn't even hardly, it was like it was a two-story, it was a two-story home. I think it was 2 stories. Or was it one? No, it was a 1-story with a basement. It had a pool in the front. So you went up this winding road, and then you went up and the pool was in the front. And it was kind of it was 1 story, but then it was bigger because it had like a full basement, because it went down the side of the hill. It was overall hanging off the side of the hill. I don't know how to explain it. You got the first story, but then the hill goes underneath, that, and then you got the basement built into the hill. And so went in there, and there was all this really incredible woodwork and stained glass, and there was all these like built-in cabinets and crystal in the cabinets, and it had this really old, like 1920s, 30s kind of feel to it. I have pictures of it. really need to digitize those because it would help this story go down. I didn't find them. I don't know where those damn pictures are. They're in here somewhere. So, and I remember there was a picture on the wall of Bruce. No, what's his name? Wait, what's the famous cowboy? Famous actor cowboy. Damn. Oh, hold on. I got the picture here on my wall. Damn, I can show you the picture. Hold on a second. Let me get it. Just a second. Be right back. I forget. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart, but I can't remember the guy's name. This was a picture I took of a picture on the wall. I don't know if you can read that. It says he still looks queer to me. And I just thought that was hilarious. Anyways, but see how that dark wood around that on the picture, the frame, all the wood in this little house was that color, that dark stained wood, very, very rich. Anyways, this house supposedly was Charlie Chaplin's secret home that he had in the hills, because if you know the history of Charlie Chaplin, he liked a younger version of he liked to dabble in the young arts, and supposedly he would take his concubines to this house in the hills that was private, secret and private, and nobody knew he had this place, and supposedly this is where he would have his little rendezvous. I don't know if any of this is true, and I've never confirmed it. Matter of fact, I've even been in an argument with the person that actually owns the home of Charlie Chaplin, that whether or not this home actually existed, because they were adamant that they owned the only home that Charlie Chaplin ever owned. And so anyways, another weird thing was in the basement there was a pool table, real nice pool table, and a bar, nice little bar, and a poker table that it was this really old table, and it would open up and like change. I don't know how to explain it, but it would turn around and open up and make a different kind of table. I'd never seen anything like that. I've seen stuff like that since, but at the time I'd never seen anything like that. And there was a picture on the wall that the story went that it was given to Charlie Chaplin by Bob Barker of The Price is Right. And it had a little plaque on it that said this, that it was given to Charlie Chaplin from Bob Barker, and it was a print of the I'm going from memory, the Queen album, the I believe it's an album called Flat Bottom Girls or Fat Bottom Girls, something like that. And it's a picture of naked girls riding bicycles. But this wasn't an album cover. This was a large print, maybe 3 feet by 2 feet or something. Like, it was big. It was a photograph. It was a blown up photograph, and supposedly this is the photograph that they took the album cover from. And it had a little plaque that I've got a picture of it, but I took a picture of that picture hanging on the wall, but the plaque you can't read. I had a little shitty one of those one-time use cameras. I don't know if you remember those, but you would take a pic. You buy, it was like a camera with the film already in. You took the pictures, then you took the whole camera, and they developed the pictures. It was one of those pieces of shit, and so the pictures didn't come out real great, and so you can't read the plaque. I don't think you can. I don't remember you could read it. Anyways, that was another weird thing. And then there was another weird thing was there was this. Supposedly the story is that because these are stories that were passed down when he bought the house, that Charlie Chaplin had his own little viewing room in the basement for his dailies. And I don't know if you understand what that means, but basically back then they would take film when they were making movies, and they would have what were called dailies, and they'd shoot the film, and then the film would be reproduced, and then they would make copies of it, and then he would get dailies and could review the dailies of the film that was shot before it was edited, and the story goes that there was a pull down movie screen in this room. Now, there was no movie screen in the basement, but what there was a closet room, like a room where the I guess the hot water heater was, or the boiler or something. It was like this room that was at the end of the room. And the guy opened up the door, and there was a picture hanging over on the outside in the basement room. But when you went in this little room, there was these multiple holes cut out of the wall, and it was like a wood wall. Back then the walls were made of wood a lot of times, and the wood wall had these strangely placed. I think it was like 3 holes. I think I took a picture of that too. And then when you look at old film projectors, they would have these different things that would poke through. So that kind of tracked. And then the third thing that was weird, and this was kind of really fucking weird, and I took a picture of it. I still have these pictures somewhere. I really need to digitize these. Where the fuck are those pictures? Hold on a second. Are they sitting on my damn desk? Because I know I've talked about this 1,000 freaking times. Hold on a second. I don't know if this is them or not. I don't think it is. Maybe not. Is it? Oh my God, this might be them. Hold on a second. Oh, it is. Damn. I've got them labeled Charlie Chaplin's Secret Hollywood Hills Home. I'm not even fucking around, y'all. I don't even know if you can. I'll try to show you these. I need to digitize these. I've got so many damn things I'm doing. I'll try to show you these, you guys. This is the. Let me see. This is the when you walk into the house. This was the the crystal, everything was wood. Everything was like custom. And that was crystal that was in the, and the guy that owned this house, it's not his crystal. This came with the house, and there was this intricate woodwork. I mean, it was, kind of, you got to think about, this is back in, this is California 1920s. I mean, we're talking, it's our 30. When was Charlie Chaplin, the man, living in, this is that same room, a different angle. And it's, it was like a kind of a, I don't know what you call that thing where it has a mirror on the back, and I guess you would set the food. The table was a modern table, but you can see, I know these are not, I need to digitize these damn things. And I know this is, I know you're like, he's lost his goddamn mind. This is the fireplace. Beautiful stonework. I haven't looked at these pictures in years. And wood mantles. It was a ranch style home. Got some pictures. Okay, and another weird thing was, there was a guy living next door that was like this crazy dude, and like he had, what in the world? He had all these tarps over his house, and they couldn't get rid of him. And this is the front of the house and the pool, and there's wood posts there, but you can, I don't know if you can, it's damn, let's see if does that do it now? Here, okay, if you look back in the back, there was the blue back there. Those were tops. That was like tarps, blue tarps on top of this crazy dude's house. It was the craziest damn thing. This is the pool and the front. Damn camera's gone cuckoo. I don't know how to hold it right. This is the front gate would be over here, where you would walk in, and then the front porch area there. I know this is horrible. I know you're like, this was, I forgot about that. That was a dartboard that was on the wall. Can't really see it too good. I'll show that last, because that's this was us driving through Beverly Hills, and I believe that's the police station. Hard to remember. This was the plaque that was underneath the fat bottom girl's picture. You can't read it. It didn't turn out, but let me see. Oh, there's a picture of that crazy dude's house. That was next door to it. It's really weird. Oh, here's another one. This is the crazy dude's house again. Sorry about the damn. Hold on a second. I got an idea. I know what'll do it. Okay, this should help. Oh, no, that made it worse. Nope. Okay, that didn't help. All right, I'll try it again. So this is the crazy dude's house. I don't know. I'm gonna have to digitize these damn pictures. That's the pool again. Oh, here's the the pool table that I was telling you about. It was a really beautiful pool table. And also, I want you to notice right there in the window, right, that black statue in the window. I know it's hard to see. There's a black statue in the window. I want you to take note of that. That was something I've questioned ever since I saw it. This is that's me playing pool right there. And that's Jeff. That's the owner of the house. Now, he was a real nice guy. He took us to see Pavement at the Palace. We went to get some Thai food and smoked a joint outside of Capitol Records, and then we went to see Pavement play at the Palace. Fucking amazing. There's a weird chandelier there. Oh, here's the picture. There's three holes, and then there's a weird chunk taken out of the wall. This is in that closet area, and you see the 3 holes, and then there's another hole at the bottom. Those holes, if you open them up, there's pictures over them, or they've been covered over on the inside, on the basement side. And those holes looked right through the wall. And supposedly, the story goes that Charlie Chaplin had his film projector in that wall, and then he had a screen in the basement that it would project onto, and he would watch his dailies from that projector. Now, is that true? I don't know. This is just, I'm just telling you what I was told. This is a picture of the flat bottom girl's picture. And I wish I had got a better picture of the plaque. That's just a picture outside. Here's a picture. This was I've forgotten about all this shit. The movie The Hustler. This is a print, an actual print from the movie The Hustler that was signed by the guy in The Hustler. I forget his name. I don't know if you can see that very well. I liked pool back then. I forget what, I can't even tell what that's of. That's just a picture of the pool. This is the front gate. And it wasn't super fancy. It was nice, but it wasn't super fancy, but it wasn't supposed to be flashy. It was supposedly a secret hideout for Charlie Chaplin. This is the bedroom. And, you know, it's got everything modern in it. His dad lived in this room, but this would have been the bedroom. It was the only bedroom from what I remember. I only remember there being one bedroom. This is the that weird table that opened up, and we ate dinner on that table. We had shark and guacamole, homemade guacamole. His girlfriend was Mexican, and it's a fucking amazing meal. And I took another picture of the plaque for the flat bottom girls, or fat. I don't know if it's fat bottom or flat bottom. Anyway, somebody will correct me in the thing, I'm sure. Here's a bigger picture of the flat bottom girls picture. And you can see in the bottom the plaque that's underneath it. And it said something about Bob Barker gave it to Charlie Chaplin. And it literally said Charlie Chaplin given to Charlie Chaplin. I mean, like, you know, is this story true? I don't know. I'm just telling you what I was told. I can't confirm nor deny. There was another weird picture on the wall in it. I didn't get a good picture. The picture I took of it didn't take. Some kind of drawing. Oh, this is the front door. It had the stained glass in it. Oh, and you can see the fireplace over there. And here's a closer up of the stained glass in the door. And to finish all this out, because I know you're about tired of this shit. There's a movie called The Maltese Falcon. And in this movie, they had a statue of a Maltese Falcon. It was black. And they had, I think, 3 or 4 statues made for the movie. And there's one, I think all of them disappeared except for one, and it's considered the most valuable movie prop in history. The rest of them disappeared. Now, I can't confirm nor deny this as being the truth, but I will tell this story the way I was told. On this, in the basement of this house, there was a statue in the window, just sitting there, and it had a plaque on it. And I didn't think anything about it at the time because I didn't know what I was looking at. I took a picture of it, read the plaque. I thought it was interesting. And unfortunately, the plaque the picture did not come out. But you can clearly see the statue. But the plaque said, I don't know exactly what it said, but it basically said it was a prop from the movie Maltese Falcon given to Charlie Chaplin. In a nutshell, that's what it said. That's what the plaque said. And I didn't think much about it when I saw it. But this was sitting in the window. And there's the plaque that was on it. Now, is that the lost Maltese Falcon prop that's worth millions of dollars? I don't know. I have no idea. But it was a really cool experience. And I hope y'all enjoyed this week. We'll see you next week. Love, Biggs.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma. Don't you get it?
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.